today's class, we're going to look at three objectives. First, we're going to look at incentive systems and motivation systems. So in the last few classes, we've looked at individual motivation with Rob Parson. We've looked at culture. We've looked at empowering individuals. Today, we're going to look at whole incentive systems and motivation systems by looking at hire. The second objective is to look at that in the context of alignment. So first we'll look at the motivation system itself, this one. And then we'll look at it in the context of aligning, the model that we looked at on Saturday about structure, people, tasks, and the role of the systems in the middle to do that alignment. The third thing we're going to do is look at what's universal and what's culturally specific. Okay, so just at this point in the class, what do you think? Is the system that you read about in the hire case, would it only work in China? Yes or no? All right. And Flora says it doesn't even work in China. Okay, so maybe it's not. Maybe it has nothing to do with culture whatsoever. All right, but that's the question that we're going to turn to towards the end of the class. So that's where we're at, and we're going to start by looking at the company of hire. All right, so if we're going to look at hire's motivation systems, first we need to look at hire itself. How is it doing? So Jason, let me start with you. How's hire's performance? You like it? Do you not like it?
I like it since initially.
Like it lots? Like it a little?
I like it a lot, actually.
Okay.
Initially they were struggling a bit, but as time went on and the implementation of all the performance metrics definitely has helped them grow.
Okay, so tell me what makes you happy. What do you like about how they're doing?
That everybody's being held accountable from top to bottom.
Okay, so that's not what an analyst would probably look like, but we'll come back to that in the system. But if you're just looking at the performance of the company, what do you like?
Let's see. They have a lot of diversity in terms of their product offerings.
Okay, good. Yeah. So they're not just relying on one category. They start with fridges, but then they go to a lot of other things. What else?
And their profit has significantly increased over the years.
Good. And the profit increase comes from, and there are only two places it can come from, revenues and costs. How are they doing on revenues?
Revenues are doing actually better. They had significant growth over the years as well.
Good. And are they managing to keep the cost down, or are the costs? I mean, you don't have all the detail on this, but what do you think?
I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah. What's your guess? Are they high cost? Are they low cost? They're pretty low cost, right? So the profit increased. That's why the profit increase is pretty stable. Okay. Let's just do a quick buzz group on that. All right. Think about hire in the 1980s. Okay, 1985 when they first started, when Chairman Zheng first came in. Okay, and think about the system that he was doing there, particularly around the people that were there, and the systems that these people are used to, and what his ambitions are. Okay, so buzz group is around the nature of the alignment here, and do the systems play a role in achieving alignment, or are there better systems to do that? Okay, it's kind of an ambiguous buzz group question, but take a minute at it. So it was kind of an ambiguous question, but basically now we're starting to pull in context. So give us some insight on why this alignment is so powerful here. Okay, Jun.
I don't think my answer is a proper answer for this, but honestly, I think that system can work, what kind of system it is. Because in China, there are so many supplying labor, but very short demand. The demand is short compared to the supply. So that kind of system is not only unique for hire; it's pretty common in every Chinese manufacturer. So it's possible to push the workers to extreme. I visited Foxconn factory a lot because I was working for Nokia, and actually it was more harsh than that because they actually had sensors in the corridor to make workers faster to the bathroom. It's really, really harsh. So I think basically they can work because of the market condition they have, labor market condition.
Okay, so we have high unemployment, and so people are willing to put up with a lot. How well does higher pay? Do you know, Michael, do you know how well does higher pay?
It's at a local salary average, I think, just local. But maybe it's just beyond the local salary average. But definitely it's below the wage paid in Shanghai or Beijing, this big city.
Below the wages in Shanghai or Beijing, but they tend to be a little bit higher than local.
Yes.
Right? So they're okay wages. They're not great wages, but they're okay. They actually have quite low staff turnover. So even when people become more skilled, they stay. So, but absolutely. Okay, so high unemployment, but I wouldn't say that's a wrong answer. They can get away with it, right? How does the high unemployment fit in with the motivational systems we're talking about here? Guillaume?
I think the whole system is based, we put some nice wording there, but it's all based on one of the fundamental drivers of people is fear. It's fear of losing your job. So it's all designed to create fear and this sense of urgency. And I think that translates or either supports that type of product. You get just a very boring functional machines with no extra features, which is what you drive to these incentives.
Okay, so it's and both fear and its opposite, so pleasure of some kind, are motivators, right? So we've talked about recognition, humiliation. Okay, is the flip side of that. Having a job, losing a job is the flip side of that. It's very closely tied to this. All right, so this system, Guillaume's position is that this system is based entirely on fear. Emily, you agree?
No, we disagree. We like the system because, okay, from two aspects. First, for manufacturing companies, especially higher, its overall strategy is cost leadership. And have a system like this to have more structure, more routine, you write down the cost curve. Therefore, hire is more like it's right on the cost leadership strategic initiative. And therefore more competitive, therefore also more job opportunities, and therefore more growth. If without this, if you look at other Chinese manufacturers who might not be doing so well, the job security is not there, and when the company is losing, I would assume employee morale also drops. The other aspect we talk about is hire is also in China, and in the case, there are two problems with the Chinese perceived with working culture. One is hierarchy, and the other is very deep interpersonal network. With this system, what we talk about, actually the bottom subordinates, you can also influence your boss. If you make a mistake, your boss also pay for it. That's going against it. Yeah. That's actually towards the right direction. And also the high deep personal leadership, that's also people call it guanxi. This is where without this system, there's no transparency. There's no, employees don't know where to go, and all decisions are made behind doors. So with this, it's going against the negatives and towards the positive. So I think you have to compare with the system and without the system. And without the system, it could be much, much worse. And this system actually drives towards profitability and jobs security, everything. So we like it.
If I just may say something,
yes.
I don't think we disagree. We just take different things. I don't think this was the system is very efficient, but I see what I think is it's based on fear. And now, effectively, it drives the business model very efficiently, and this is probably the right system for this kind.
But I think what Emily is saying is the system without this was also based on fear, but a different kind of fear.
But I don't even agree with the system is based on fear. It's because with the system, there's transparency and there's clear goals where the assembly line workers can be promoted. How it's getting promotion and higher pay is based on fear. I mean, it's just...
I can be very transparent and it's not antithetic. You can be very transparent and you can threaten people very transparently and it's fear.
To me, like getting a higher pay and a higher position is a positive, not a negative. I'm not sure. Maybe we have to call it.
Well, and I'd like I see you, Thomas and Isaac, but I'd like to hear from a few more of the Chinese people about how this would be perceived in the Chinese culture, especially of the 1980s to 90s. Yeah, Arthur?
I think some other my colleagues already touched upon this. That you need to look at the bigger environment, the social environment, and at what time they were implementing those, basically those measures. If you look at the bigger environment, you're talking about the people are not having, or did not have a clear ownership of their roles and responsibilities. They did not appreciate the value of efficiency, computation, and transparency, and did not fully understand the rule of market economy, how you're going to cut costs and increase performance. So under those circumstances and implement those rules is actually try to simulate the market rules within the entity, try to motivate everyone. I think it's more than fear, definitely.
In 1985, this is the year I just was born, so 30 years. So at that time, people really work most people work in government or state-owned firms, and then people don't really have a headcount, and then don't have they just finish the work, and then they get fixed payment every month. So for hire this company, they really have to change it. That's why the system is kind of hard for people to see it. But if you want to make a big change, you do need a really strict system in order to push people from original position to where you want to go now. And also, this is something I personally really think this is the first brand, which is Chinese brand, can represent in the world, and then also go abroad to sell and make revenue. It's really something for the workers and also for for the CEO as well. This is will make difference how people work, the passion every day.
Yeah, there's a lot of pride associated with working here.